Have you ever wondered what it's like to completely transform your life by moving to a new country? 5 years ago, I took the plunge and moved to Merida, Mexico. From learning a new language to navigating life in a culturally foreign place, my journey has been full of surprises and growth. Today, I'm sharing the 5 biggest changes I've seen and lessons I've experienced living here in Merida, Mexico. Whether you're dreaming of a move to Merida or just curious about what it's like to live in real Mexico, you don't want to miss this video. Let's get it. I arrived in Merida, Mexico on June 18, 2019, full of excitement and uncertainty. This was my 4th trip to Merida, but my first solo visit, and my Spanish was, to say at least, super limited. The purpose of this trip was twofold. 1, learn Spanish, and 2, see if I could navigate the unfamiliar way of living without my Spanish-speaking wife. This was the first time I had lived outside the US by myself. My wife and older kids had spent many months living in Guadalajara over the years, but I would only come down for short visits. This time, my trip was for 3 weeks of intensive Spanish classes at the La Calle Spanish School. And also, it was for exploring the streets in the evenings, discovering the beautiful city of Merida that I would soon call home. Fast forward to June 18, 2024, and a lot has changed in those 5 years. I've changed physically and mentally. The city of Merida has changed, and my love for Mexico and Merida in particular has grown much, much stronger. So today I want to share with you 5 differences I've noticed living in Merida, Mexico after 5 years. Number 1, one of the most exciting aspects of moving is discovering new things constantly. The question I get most often is, why did we move to Mexico? And I always say it was for a new adventure. In the 5 years that we've been here, I still feel that excitement. What has changed is my ability to find what I need quicker and accomplish everyday tasks in a new language more easily. When I moved to Merida, Mexico, I was basically illiterate in Spanish, which was very frustrating and limiting. As my language skills improved, so did my ability to understand the world around me. Becoming bilingual has enabled me to experience a much fuller life outside of Mexico. For example, a couple of weeks ago when I flew back to Atlanta for my sister's wedding, as I was waiting for my Uber, I noticed a Mexican gentleman having difficulty communicating with his Lyft driver. Inspired by a video from fella ATLian Mike Ben about practicing Spanish, shout out Mike Ben, I seized the opportunity to help. I asked the gentleman if he spoke English and if he needed assistance. The look on his face was pure relief. I've been there, so I understand. He explained that he needed to get to Bremen, which is about 54 miles away from the Atlanta airport. I helped him communicate with the driver, and he was incredibly thankful. Throughout the weekend, I also found myself speaking Spanish to hotel staff, workers at Chick-fil-A, and even my final Uber driver, who was Dominican. I realized just how much my Spanish skills had grown and also how much I was aware of Spanish being spoken in the environment around me. Number 2, we started our lives in Merida, Mexico without cars, relying on bikes, Uber, and even Didi. It was wonderful not having to worry about driving around, and the prices were super reasonable back in 2019. In 2019, figuring out the bus system though was hella tough. Fast forward to 2024, we now have 2 cars, which gives us a level of freedom we didn't realize we were missing. Public transportation has undergone a massive overhaul in the last 5 years. Now buses are modern with air conditioning. Some are all electric with an app that tells you exactly when the next bus will arrive. There's also 80 kilometers of bike lanes that didn't exist when we first got here in 2019. The airport has also been fully modernized, and there are now direct flights to Atlanta until the end of this month. Finally, the Maya train, which was once just a concept or a rumor, is now a reality, and you can actually take the Maya train to different points in the peninsula. The transportation landscape has completely changed in the Yucatan Peninsula and definitely in the city of Merida since 2019. Number 3. Merida and the federal government have invested heavily in green spaces in the city. The new Central Park of Merida called La Plancha opened last year and is absolutely amazing. If you're interested in seeing a video about all the activities in La Plancha, leave a comment below. There's also been local investments in southern Merida, such as the new sports and entertainment complex, Henry Martin. This place is amazing. It has like a built-in carnival with outdoor rides, as well as a huge splash pad. We went down one Sunday just to hang out, and it was pretty cool. In addition to the green spaces in the city, there are now more beach clubs along the Gulf Coast. When we moved here in 2019, there were basically 2 beach clubs, Waigüe and Seltzer. Now there are about 6 different beach clubs all the way from Sisal to Telchac Puerto. The state of Yucatan is also well known for its many cenotes, which are freshwater underground swimming spots. There are many rustic cenotes that exist throughout many of the small towns in Yucatan, but there are several that are super equipped like Mucuche or Santa Barbara. Number 4, one of the biggest changes for the people of Mexico under the AMLO administration is the increase in the daily federal minimum wage, which has more than doubled since 2019, going from 113.3 pesos to 248.93 pesos. But what does that mean for immigrants that are looking to move to Mexico? Well, the federal minimum wage is used in the calculations for financial solvency for immigrants who wish to move to Mexico. Therefore, the requirements to qualify for residency have more than doubled in the last 5 years, making it a little harder to legitimately immigrate to Mexico. However, since the pandemic, Mexico has offered a program called the Foreign National Registry that allows people who have visited Mexico in the last 10 years to apply for residency without qualifying financially. To my surprise, this program still exists in 2024. However, with the latest election, which just took place on June 2nd of 2024, and the new administration taking office in October of 2024, this program could go away as suddenly as it appeared. The new federal minimum wage has helped raise millions over the poverty line, which is a good thing for Mexico. While the minimum wages have risen, so have the prices due to inflation. While housing remains less expensive than in many major cities around the world, including Mexico City or even cities like Monterrey, other things like clothing, electronics, electricity, or even gas can be just as expensive or more so here in Merida, Mexico. Merida attracts many Mexican nationals from around the country with more income or resources, driving up the real estate development here in the city. Merida, while still very affordable, is becoming more expensive than it was 5 years ago due to the desire for international immigrants and Mexican nationals to live here. Number 5. Over the last 5 years, I have greatly improved my physical health and well-being. Since arriving in 2019, I've cultivated a lifestyle of exercise. One of the great things about living here is that it's sunny almost every morning, except for this last week when we're experiencing a tropical storm. It may rain at some point during the day, but you can count on sunshine almost most mornings. I started my exercise routine by simply getting out and walking. Now, thanks to my beautiful wife, I belong to a triathlon team. My wife motivated me after she completed the Ironman 70.2 a few years ago. So now I cycle, run, and just started to learn to swim properly in open water. The results of living here have been incredible for my health. If you look at the thumbnails from even the old videos, you can visibly see the difference in my face. I typically exercise about 5 to 6 times a week. Since my arrival to Merida, I've become an advocate and unofficial ambassador to Mexico. This channel is dedicated to helping others see the real Mexico in all of its beauty, while dispelling the propaganda of drug trafficking and violence portrayed by the US media. I will continue to share my journey and promote life in real Mexico. If you found one thing in this video helpful, please do me a favor and hit that like button, and also subscribe for more videos just like this. Until next time, MexitPlans Monty, I'm out.